Chances are that the only time your cat will seem like they're in any real distress is when they're forced to deal with a trichobezoar, a soggy clump of undigested fur, better known as a hairball. As domestic cats groom themselves, tiny papillae on their tongues act as bristles, catching loose hair and sweeping it away from their bodies. Some of this hair often winds up being swallowed before the cat coughs or retches it up in a somewhat unnerving display of kitty regurgitation. At zoos or on YouTube you may have seen cats of a different stripe. Tigers, lions, and other wild animals perform a similar huffing, heaving action. Do big cats get hairballs too? According to Natalia Borrego, a research associate at the University of Minnesota Lion Center, her subjects aren't prone to hacking up tumbleweed-sized hairballs, even though they perform the same grooming rituals as smaller cats. Borrego told National Geographic that while there's nothing in their physiology that would prevent them from developing one in or out of captivity, it's simply not a common observation. Smaller wildcats under care, like servals and ocelots, might be more prone to hairballs since their diet includes commercial foods. Jaguars, leopards, and other cats stick to meat. Some experts believe processed food diets might contribute to digestive conditions leading to hairballs, which might be one reason a large animal's farm-to-table preferences mean a lower risk of developing the clumps. When big cats do develop them, they can be massive. In recent years, one lion and one tiger in captivity developed hairballs so large, 4 pounds in size, they had to be surgically removed. They were simply too big to be passed on their own. So what's really happening when you see a lion chuffing with its mouth open? It's probably not dislodging a hairball. Lions and other big cats use their voice box to make contact calls or roars that might be mistaken for coughing. Do lobsters really mate for life? It's a pop culture trope that mated lobsters stay together until they die, but is it true? Nope. While plenty of animals practice long-term monogamy, lobsters are not among them. Lobsters actually mate by a weird system of serial monogamy. It's not exactly a one-night stand, but it's not a lifelong commitment either. Instead, a bunch of females take turns having a fling with the local dominant male that lasts a week or two, and if they're not happy with the amount of genetic material he's provided, then seek a little extra action. It works like this. A female lobster who's ready to mate, which they can only do right after they've molted, hangs out near the den of the local dominant male and fans her pheromone-laced urine into his home. This relaxes the male, making him less aggressive and more receptive to mating. Then there's a brief courtship, and the male allows the female into his den. Anywhere from a few hours to a few days later, the female slips into something a little more comfortable by shedding her exoskeleton. Shacking up with the neighborhood tough guy guarantees her protection during this vulnerable time. The pair mates, and the male deposits his sperm in the female. Once her new shell is hardened a week or two later, she takes off, and another female can have her turn. Often the females in an area will stagger the timing of their molts to make their reproductive conga line more efficient. As soon as one female is done with the stud, the next one is already waiting to pee on his doorstep. Sometimes the male doesn't provide enough sperm to fully fertilize all of a female's eggs. In these cases, she'll leave before her new shell finishes forming to find and mate with another male or males, until she collects enough sperm. Usually this requires just an extra dalliance or two, but as many as 10 have been reported. Why do cats freak out after pooping? Cats often exhibit some very peculiar behavior, from getting into deadly combat situations with their own tail, to pouncing on unsuspecting humans. Among their most curious habits, running from their litter box like a greyhound after moving their bowels. Are they running from their own fecal matter? Has waste elimination prompted a sense of euphoria? Experts, if anyone is said to qualify as an expert in post-poop moods, aren't exactly sure, but they've presented a number of entertaining theories. From a biological standpoint, some animal behaviorists suspect that a cat bolting after a deposit might stem from fears that a predator could track them based on the smell of their waste. But researchers are quick to note that they haven't observed cats run from their BMs in the wild. Biology also has a little bit to do with another theory, which postulates that cats used to getting their rear ends licked by their mother after defecating as kittens or showing off their independence by sprinting away, their butts having taken on self-cleaning properties in adulthood. Not convinced? You might find another idea more plausible. Both humans and cats have a vagus nerve running from their brainstem. In both species, the nerve can be stimulated by defecation, leading to a pleasurable sensation and what some have labeled poophoria, or post-poop elation. In running, the cat may simply be working off excess energy brought on by stimulation of the nerve. Less interesting is the notion that notoriously hygienic cats may simply want to shake off excess litter or fecal matter by running a 100-meter dash, or that a digestive problem has led to some discomfort they're attempting to flee from. The fact is, so little research has been done in the field of pooping cat mania that there's no universally accepted answer. Like so much of what makes cats tick, a definitive motivation will have to remain a mystery. Why do dogs love to dig? Dog owners with green thumbs, beware. It's likely just a matter of time before Fido turns your azalea bed into a graveyard of forgotten chew toys. When dogs aren't digging up your prized garden, they can be found digging elsewhere in your yard, at the beach, and even between your couch cushions at home. But what exactly is behind your dog's drive to turn every soft surface he or she sees into an excavation site? According to Dr. Emma Grigg, an animal behaviorist and co-author of The Science Behind a Happy Dog, this behavior is completely normal. When people say, "Why do dogs dig?" the first thing that always comes to mind is, "Well, because they're dogs," she tells Mental Floss. The instinct first appeared in dogs' wolf ancestors, then it was amplified in certain breeds through artificial selection. That's why dogs that were bred to hunt rodents like beagles and terriers are especially compelled to dig in places where such animals might make their homes, but this tendency isn't limited to just a few specific breeds. No matter their original roles, dogs of all breeds have been known to kick up some dirt on occasion. Grigg says there are two main reasons a dog may want to dig. The first is to cool off on a hot day. When stuck on an open lawn with little to no shade, unearthing a fresh layer of dirt untouched by the sun is a quick way to beat the heat. The second reason is to stash away goodies. Imagine your dog gets bored with chewing his favorite bone but knows he wants to come back for it later. Instead of leaving it out in the open where anyone can snatch it up, he decides to bury it in a secret place where only he'll be able to find it. Whether or not he'll actually go back for it is a different story. There's a disconnect with modern dogs. They know the burying part, but they don't always know to dig it up, Dr. Grigg says. Because digging is part of a dog's DNA, punishing your pet for doing so isn't super effective. But that doesn't mean you should stand idly by as your yard gets turned inside out. When faced with this behavior in your own dog, one option is to redirect it. This can mean allowing him to dig in a designated corner of the yard while keeping other parts off limits, or setting up a raised flower bed or sandbox, especially to satisfy that urge. You can get him interested in the area by burying a couple bones or some interesting things in there for him to dig, Dr. Grigg says. I like the idea of buried treasure. If your dog's motive for digging is more destructive than practical, he may have an energy problem. Dogs require a certain amount of stimulation each day, and when their humans don't provide it for them, they find their own ways to occupy themselves. Sometimes it's by chewing up shoes, toppling trash cans, or digging ditches the perfect size for twisting ankles. Fortunately, this is nothing more walks and playtime can't improve. Why do we dive with sharks but not crocodiles? The issue is the assumption that sharks' instincts are stronger and more basic. There are a couple of reasons swimming with sharks is safer. Firstly, most sharks do not like the way people taste. They expect their prey to taste a certain way, like fish or seal, and we do not taste like that. Sharks also do not like the sensation of eating people. Bigger sharks like great whites enjoy prey with a high fat-bone ratio like seals. Smaller sharks enjoy eating fish, which they can gobble in one bite. So, while they might bite us, they pretty quickly decide, "That's not for me," and swim away. There is only one shark that doesn't really care about humans tasting icky. That shark is our good friend, the tiger shark. He is one of the most dangerous species because of his non-discriminatory taste. He's called the garbage can of the sea. Secondly, sharks are not animals that enjoy a fight. Our big friend the great white enjoys ambushing seals. This sneak attack is why it sometimes mistakes people for seals or sea turtles. Sharks do not need to fight for food. The vast majority of shark species are not territorial. Some are like the blacktip and bull, but those that are territorial tend to be the more aggressive species that are more dangerous to dive with. Thirdly, sharks attacked about 81 people in 2016 according to the University of Florida. Only 4 were fatal, most were surfers. Meanwhile, this is the saltwater crocodile. The saltwater crocodile is not a big fishy friend like the shark. He is an opportunistic, aggressive giant beast. Crocodiles attack hundreds to thousands of people every single year. Depending on the species, 1/3 to 1/2 are fatal. You have a better chance of survival if you played Russian roulette. the death roll. When a crocodile wants to kill something big, the crocodile grabs it and rolls. This drowns and disorients the victim. Here is a PG video of the death roll. There's also a video on YouTube in which a man stuck his arm into an alligator's mouth and he death rolled. You don't want to see what happened. Remember how the shark doesn't want to eat you or fight you? This primordial beast will eat you and enjoy it. There is a crocodile dubbed Gustav who has allegedly killed around 300 people. I personally believe 300 is a hyped number, and the true number might be around 100, but yikes, that's a lot. Gustav has reportedly killed people for funsies. He's killed them and gone back to his business. So maybe they won't even eat you. Sharks are mostly predictable. Crocodiles, on the other hand, are completely unpredictable. Are you in the water or by the edge of the water? Well, you are fair game to a crocodile. Crocodiles have been known to hang out together. The friend group that murders together eats together. Basques of crocodiles have even murdered hippopotamuses, the murder river horse. Do you think you don't look like an appetizer? Wow, look at this. This blacktip swims among the beautiful coral, surrounded by crystal clear waters and staggering biodiversity. I want to swim there. Oh wow, such mud. I can't say I feel the urge to take a dip, thanks to all who pointed this out. This is not swimming with the crocodiles, more like a three-dimensional aquarium.